Hi, I'm Mark Ollis, and this morning I'm wearing a mask to illustrate a point. So right now it's the peak of the coronavirus, and everyone's wearing masks, they're wearing gloves, they're being isolated from home. There's just huge change, there's huge fear about because of the coronavirus. I'm going to take this off because you probably can't hear me very well. The fact is, today what I want to talk about is utilizing fear for a positive. Now, if we look at the coronavirus numbers, here's the facts. Right now, it's April 15th, 2020. We look like we're right at the top of the bell curve. In the United States, to date, roughly 28,000 people have died. Now, not that this is good, but I just want to give you some numbers for perspective. So if we're at the top of a bell curve is symmetrical. So at the top of this bell curve, that means we're about halfway. So now if 28,000 people have died, that means when we get to the bottom or the end of this thing, it'll be about double that. So that means 56,000 people will have died. Again, not to minimize the importance of that, but to just put it in perspective, consider the fact that 55,000 people die every single year from the flu in the United States. Negligible difference, coronavirus versus the flu. Yet meanwhile, people aren't afraid of the flu. You don't hear people run around in a panic about, oh my God, it's the flu, it's flu season, stay inside, don't leave your house, hoard food from the grocery store. You don't hear that type of thing. If we look at the worldwide statistics, again, to date, April 15th, roughly 130,000 people have died worldwide. If we assume again we're at the top of the bell curve, that means 260,000 people die. Did you know that 646,000 people die every year from the flu worldwide? Turns out the coronavirus isn't even close to that. Then what I want to talk about is something that is a serious concern, and that's heart disease. How many people do you think die every year in just this country from heart disease? The fact is the number is very close to worldwide deaths for the flu. It's 647,000 people die every single year in the United States from heart disease. That's roughly 1,800 people every single day dying. That equates to the coronavirus at its worst in the United States. So the coronavirus at its peak of the bell curve is killing right around 1,800 people a day. Heart disease does this day after day after day, year after year. Do you think if we were reporting this as a news item as hard as we are with the coronavirus, every single day letting you know, showing a constant ticker tape that showed how many people are currently dying and look at the death tolls and there's this many people that are heading for heart disease. If this was constantly bombarded into you and I think we'd all be a little more concerned about diet and exercise. And that's what my big point is. I want to help people be motivated to exercise. If you look at the numbers and what's really likely to happen to you, if you're buckling down and you're masking up and gloving up and you're really worried about dying from the coronavirus, look at the numbers. You are far more likely to have problems with heart disease. And what are you doing with that? Are you watching your diet? Are you exercising regularly? Are you keeping your weight in a good, healthy range? If not, you really need to ask yourself, what's a bigger risk? 1,800 people a day for maybe a few days, a few weeks with the coronavirus versus every single day, year after year without stop. That's what's happening with heart disease. So what I would like to see is people take and look at the real concerns, the real things they need to worry about. Use that to make change. The fact is, fear is one of the best things we've got as a motivator. It's a very primitive kind of an instinct. We have fear because that drives us to perform. The fact is, without fear, we'd have been laying out in the open with the saber-toothed tigers just coming and just chomping on us. We'd have all been dead. But the fact is, fear makes us work. It makes us build that cave. It makes us build that shelter so that we can hide and be safe. Well, you can utilize these same types of things, use this fear in a positive to help drive you to go in and exercise to help you motivate to eat better foods. And the fact is, if you showed people visuals of people on ventilators and in nursing homes from heart disease, you'd have some strong imagery that would help to drive you to make sure you're participating in more positive things. So again, try not to be fearful, but if you do want to use fear in a positive way, use it to help motivate you to do the right things. Think about the numbers and use them to say, wow, okay, the real risk, it's really not the coronavirus. The real risk is heart disease and other things, and I can protect against that. I don't have to worry about being in that 646,000 people a year that die. I can be in that category that stays healthy and doesn't have to worry a bit. So I hope this provides you some motivation and some perspective. Thanks.